Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for tuning into this channel. Today, we are going to be talking about the book titled Half of a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Now, let's look at the authorial background of the text. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, born 15 September 1977, is a Nigerian writer and public speaker who is regarded as a central figure in post-colonial feminist literature. She is the author of the award-winning novels Purple Hibiscus, Half of a Yellow Sun, and Americana. Her other works include the book essays We Should All Be Feminists, Dear Ijeawele, or A Feminist Manifesto in 15 Suggestions, a memoir tribute to her father, Note on Grief, and a children's book, Mama's Sleeping Scarf. Born in Enugu, Enugu State, Nigeria, Adichie's childhood was influenced by the aftermath of the colonial rule and the Nigerian Civil War, which took the lives of both of her grandfathers. The war was the setting for her first novel and the subject of her second. Most of her works explore the themes of religion, Americanization, immigration, racism, gender, marriage, motherhood, and womanhood. She was educated at the University of Nigeria and moved to the United States at 19 to complete her education at Drexel University. By 2008, she would study in three universities: Eastern Connecticut State University, Johns Hopkins University, and Yale University. She first published the poetry collection Decisions in 1997, which was followed by a play, For Love of Biafra, in 1998. In less than 10 years, she published 8 books, novels, poems, book essays and collections, memoirs, children's books, reviews, and short stories. Adichie has cited Chinua Achebe, Buchi Emecheta, Enid Blyton, and other authors as inspirations. Her style juxtaposes Western and African influences, particularly focusing on her own native Igbo language and culture. Adichie's 2009 TED talk, The Danger of a Single Story, is one of the most viewed TED talks of all time. Our 2012 talk, We Should All Be Feminists, was sampled by Beyoncé and featured on a t-shirt by the French fashion house Dior in 2016. Adichie advocates using fashion as a medium to break down stereotypes and was recognized for her Wear Nigerian campaign with a Shirtley Award in 2018. Both her written works and public speaking encourage recognition of the diversity of humanity and the need for equality. She has received numerous academic awards, fellowships, and honorary degrees, among them a MacArthur Fellowship in 2008 and an induction into the American Academy of Arts and Sciences in 2017. That is all we have under the authorial background of the text. Now we are going into the textual background of the text. Half of a Yellow Sun is a novel by Nigerian author Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Published in 2006 by Fourth Estate in London, the novel tells the story of the Biafran War through the perspective of the characters Olana, Ugu, and Richard. The novel takes place in Nigeria prior to and during the Nigerian Civil War, 1967 to 70. The effects of the war is shown through the relationships of 5 people's lives, including the twin daughters of an influential businessman, a professor, a British expat, and a Nigerian houseboy. After Biafra's declaration of secession, the lives of the main characters drastically change and are torn apart by the brutality of the civil war and decisions in their personal lives. The book jumps between events that took place during the early and late 1960s when the war took place, and extends until the end of the war. In the early 1960s, the main characters are introduced. Ugu, a 13-year-old village boy who moves in with Odenigbo to work as his houseboy. Odenigbo frequently entertains intellectuals to discuss the political turmoil in Nigeria. Life changes for Ugu when Odenigbo's girlfriend Olana moves in with them. Ugu forms a strong bond with both of them and is a very loyal houseboy. Olana has a twin sister, Kenine, a woman with a dry sense of humor. Tired by the pompous company she runs for her father, her lover Richard is an English writer who goes to Nigeria to explore Igbo Ukwu arts. Jumping 4 years ahead, trouble is brewing between the Hausa and the Igbo people, and hundreds of people die in massacres, including Olana's beloved auntie and uncle. A new republic called Biafra is created by the Igbo. As a result of the conflicts, Olana, Odenigbo, their young daughter, whom they refer to only as Baby, and Ugu are forced to flee Nsukka, which is the university town and the major intellectual hub of the new nation. They finally end up in the refugee town of Umuahia, where they suffer and struggle due to food shortages, the constant air raids, and the environment of paranoia. There are also allusions to a conflict between Olana and Kenine, Richard and Kenine, and between Olana and Odenigbo. When the novel jumps back to the early 1960s, we learn that Odenigbo has slept with a village girl, Amala, who then has his baby. Olana is furious at his betrayal and sleeps with Richard in a moment of liberation. She goes back to Odenigbo, and when they later learn that Amala refused to keep her newborn daughter, Olana decides that they would keep her. During the war, Olana, Odenigbo, Baby and Ugu live with Kenan and Richard, where Kenan was running a refugee camp. Their situation is hopeless as they have no food nor medicine. Kenan decides to trade across enemy lines but does not return, even after the end of the war a few weeks later. The book ends ambiguously, with the reader not knowing if Kenan lives. Watch out for part 2.